here.
Yesterday I did Gucci, and today Fendi, so it's hot.
Hey, it's Nikki Jensen
and Brie Piccone,
and we're
Late to the Party,
a weekly podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture from two best friends mentally doing a triple axel in 1994.
Woo!
Get crazy,
get wild.
That should be our theme song.
It should. Yeah, can we borrow that?
Yeah.
How much would that cost? The rights for LMFAO, like the 15 seconds Jersey Shore theme.
Either way too much or not as much as it's worth. I feel like there's no in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get on today's topic though, we need to address some things.
Yes.
Which I feel like this is like really exciting because it's the first time on the pod that we're able to be like, we actually have podcast news.
I know. Podcast news. Boop, 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 boop.
Get crazy.
Get wild.
You want to have news? Let's podcast, baby. Let's address the elephant in the room first.
Yes.
So, Brie and I have already recorded this episode.
Oh, that elephant. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going to go there. I was like, oh, let's forget about that.
Well, just, yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore for us.
Totally.
We had the most Mercury retrograde-y moment that I feel like all podcasters go through, but we've never gone through before.
No, it was our moment this time. I feel like also the last couple of retrogrades, I didn't even feel them. I felt like things were up for me in the retrogrades, like
for sure. I mean, like I was so ready to be like, I don't believe in that.
Right.
Like now that it's been appropriated and they're like Mercury's in Gatorade.
But this one was so deep in the Gatorade.
It took a toll. So we recorded
one of our best episodes too. I thought we did so good.
The best. And it's also like, so we had such a great episode the other day where I felt after recording that we hit our peak. Like this was the best we did. Like,
oh,
you know what I mean? Like this was our like magnum opus. This was our all too well 10-minute version,
Yeah.
And so anyways, that episode did not have audio.
It was just us, like just the video and nothing else.
It was us for an hour and a half having the best time of our lives on cloud 9, just riding this podcast high.
I really wanted to save it. I was like, oh man, maybe there's a way we can dub over our own voices. Like, do we remember what we said?
It's like that video of Troy Bolton doing Bet on It in High School Musical 2, but it's like with the real sound.
Yeah, we could have done that. That would have taken more work though. So here we are re-recording.
It's true. Yeah, we're here. We're back. And we're back with a makeover.
Yeah, we have new podcast artwork. We're rebranding.
We do. So thank you, Herdat Media.
Yeah, thank you.
We love a makeover moment. I feel like our new artwork is a little more reflective of the direction we're going. It's like Mean Girls Byrne book meets Olivia Rodrigo's Sour/Guts promo.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I love it.
I do too. So yeah, and I love a good makeover.
Same. Yeah,
we're like
Mia Thermopolis
for sure. Our Mia moment, our Gracie Hart Miss Congeniality moment.
Mm.
Even though with the recording that like we didn't do audio, I feel like it was very She's All That, where we got this like brand new artwork and we were like really like we went from artsy like art nerd Rachel Lee Cook into Rachel Lee Cook going down the steps in the red dress to Kiss Me by Suspense None the Richer. And then our retrograde moment.
The universe said, not yet.
Well, the universe literally gave us the when she falls down the steps into Freddie Prinze Jr.'s arms. Like, that's us.
Yeah, that was exactly how it went.
For sure. But we're back, baby.
Yeah, we're back. And I'm excited to talk about itonya.
Yes. Today we are talking about the 2017 film starring Margot Robbie and Allison Janney.
Yeah.
itonya.
But before we do, we have a new segment.
I know the influence, I know the impact, and I know the vibes.
There's been so much pop culture news.
Yes.
News for the ages. I feel like, whatever. There's dogs.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Those dogs are going off because
They're excited.
they're really excited. They're excited about our new segment and our makeover.
Mm-hmm.
Have you listened to the new Olivia Rodrigo album, Guts?
Yes. And I love it. It is, I want to say it's better than her first album even.
100%.
So good. I love pretty much every song. I have a few favorites, but
oh my gosh, yes.
it's so good.
Oh, I feel like Olivia Rodrigo's new album is very late to the party coded.
Yeah.
Like I love the fact that, she's, Gen Z,
yeah.
but she's so she has such a reverence and a love for the 90s and early 2000s. I love the Bad Idea, Right music video where she looks literally like Liv Tyler and Empire Records.
Love it.
And I see her influences from the 90s. All American Bitch is my favorite song off the album.
Yes.
And it totally sounds like Hands Clean a little bit from Alanis Morissette.
Right. Is that the one where she also kind of nods to Alanis Morissette? Or is that a different video? There's one where she's clones of herself. What is that?
That's Get 'Em Back.
Oh, yeah, Get 'Em Back.
Which is another fave.
Yeah.
Where she does the verses kind of like a Beck song.
Yes. I love it. I love her talk singing situation.
And too. It's a little Avril Lavigne too. I get all of her references. I'm I see you, girl. She's just the moment.
Yeah, she's so cool. I feel like also the music is her sound is so different, but it really works. It's kind of nostalgic, but it's still its own thing.
I love it so much. I feel like this album has virtually no skips.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but what are your favorites?
Okay, so, Bad Idea, I do enjoy that song. I feel like I've heard that one a lot, but
it's so good. The moment I heard that song, I'm that's the song. That's the single.
I really no, for sure. I really like All American Bitch. I like, let's see. Love is Embarrassing.
It's a good one.
I even like Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl.
I do too. Oh my God. When she talks about loving all the gay guys and being really socially awkward, I feel that in my core.
Yeah. What about you? What are your faves?
All American Bitch. I love Get 'Em Back. Get 'Em Back's my favorite.
Get 'Em Back.
For sure. Bad Idea, Right? I even like Vampire. It's grown on me for sure. Did you see the performance at the VMAs?
Yes. What was going on with that? Her set kind of falling apart?
That's totally intentional.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It was.
Right. Why were people saying it wasn't?
I think people were really bothered by Selena Gomez's reactions to a lot of things, in particular that performance, which it's not news. People focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Olivia Rodrigo, she started out on Disney Channel, so I feel she's a really she's an actress. She's a pretty good actress too.
Yeah.
But it made me think of early 2000s VMAs.
Yes.
When it was an actual performance. I loved her singing Vampire and the set just falling apart and causing some chaos, and then her coming back out with Get 'Em Back.
I love that.
It was a slay.
So much fun. Speaking of the VMAs, I really enjoyed Taylor Swift's reactions to everything and just her straight vibing and singing along. When they cut to her, I don't know. I think that was really fun.
I thought it was so funny. It's kind of it brought me back to, a couple years ago, 1989 era Taylor Swift, where she was always in the front row of these award shows, just dancing. Oh my, is this how I act when I've had a few drinks in me? I know I don't have rhythm. Is this?
Yeah, that was you at the club, basically. But you were getting it.
Yeah, she's with Ice Spice too, and I've loved seeing the memes of Taylor Swift just dancing to everything, and when Nsync announced their comeback, essentially, Ice Spice is who are they? I don't care. And Taylor Swift is having a millennial meltdown.
Yeah, she's oh my God, I can't believe you guys are right there and I'm right here.
Which, how do you feel about Nsync coming back?
I feel bad that I don't feel the same way as Taylor. I mean, if you asked me years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I might feel differently, but now I'm they're all, they're I love them. But I want to live in the moment. I wish I could take a time machine and go back to early 2000s, peak like 1999 Nsync. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do feel like JC Chazé deserves his reparations of sorts. Like, I feel like justice for JC because he is the superior talent in Nsync.
yeah, he does carry it.
Like, forget about Justin Timberlake. It's all about JC, even now. So I want with their comeback, like, a JC renaissance.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, didn't they present an award or something in 2013 at the VMAs? Like, I feel like before Justin Timberlake's downfall and the whole Free Britney thing, I think that would have been the moment.
That would have been the moment, and I think I would have been more excited, but
yeah. What I really want to know is Joey Fatone going to be in My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3?
Yes.
That's real news.
That's a real, yeah. I know, I agree. We got to know.
Yes. I mean, you know what? If they come back and they're like slay, like Backstreet Boys, still really good.
Yeah.
They need to do the choreography.
Yes. If you have, okay, here's the thing. If you are like a group and you're known, even say Britney Spears or someone like who's known for their choreography, you know? Shakira. Have you seen Shakira in concert? Like, I mean, not personally,
really,
but like videos of her.
Yes.
Like going off.
Yes.
With her hips.
Well, they don't lie.
No, they don't. But you know what I mean? Like, if you're a performance kind of based artist, you're not just up there singing.
No, you have to put on a show.
Put on a show. Yeah.
Well, also like I know we're like 5 years younger than Taylor Swift, so we don't have as much millennial like reverence for Nsync.
Right. We weren't like really crushing on them when we were like 5.
We were like the Jonas Brothers. But the Jonas Brothers comeback didn't even do anything for me.
It didn't do anything for me either.
Except those clips of Nick Jonas singing the red dress part and Burning Up. That's like the only thing I care about. Red dress. Yeah. But Nsync, well, you know what? If I want to see Nsync like relive their moment and like come back together, I want full bye 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 choreo.
That's right.
Like, that's iconic. You gotta like,
yeah. If the choreo's there, I'll be there. But if it's not there, I won't be there.
Well, I loved their costumes, like what they wore to the VMAs. It was like interestingly pastel suits.
Really?
Like a little oversized pastel suits. It was very interesting. Also, oh my God, Brie. Last night I laughed myself into tears.
Really?
Because, okay, so the Talking Heads have this new like documentary movie out, and I was watching a TikTok of David Byrne and, you know, like the big oversized suit, you know, singing like, I don't, you know, one of the Talking Head songs. And, you know, doing like the little chicken legs that David Byrne does. Yeah. And I was like, why am I slightly attracted to this? And also, two, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer. And the fact that no one made the connection during the memes of 2 months ago. Tell me this is not the same vibes.
Oh my God. Wait, I think I see what you mean. Like with the giant shoulder pads like this?
Yes.
Like
Brie, like
he looks like the Go-Go Gadget McDonald's toy. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No.
He does. It's those shoulders.
Oh, man. But I like had myself, Brie, I was rolling to myself.
Oh my God. Yeah, that jacket is something else.
Oh, love it. What were we even talking about?
I don't know. I know. I feel like
we talked a lot about Nsync, but I feel like both of us do not care about the Nsync reunion at all.
Not really. It's okay, though. I'm glad that Taylor's excited, you know?
Same. I loved her, like, dancing.
Yeah.
I loved when she's, like, feeling herself, but it's so cringe.
I was going to say, when she's singing a Millie.
No judgment, because I know that's how I act as well. So
that's same. No,
yeah.
If a Millie comes on,
that's like us at
any
the club
song. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes either one of us is Ice Spice and either one of us is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, just depends.
Yeah. Anything else in pop culture news? I feel like Fashion Week kind of came and went. The only thing that I really cared about Fashion Week wise is Julia Fox.
Yes. I know, I saw that with her, like the wedding number. Is that what you're talking about? Or is there a different look?
Just her in general. I feel like every time I saw her prancing about New York during Fashion Week, I was just living for it.
I just love her prancing.
I do too. Anything she does, like she breathes and I'm like, yes, queen. But you know what else I've also been loving?
What?
Jenna Lyons on Roni.
She seems really cool. I don't know. She's so funny. She's like, I've never been on a girls' trip.
I feel her in my core. I also like, I don't care about the housewives.
Yeah, I'm same.
But I'm invested in Jenna Lyons being a disruptor.
Yeah. She's not on the same level.
Definitely not. It's also interesting trying to explain, like, I've been trying to explain Jenna Lyons to people who are just like Housewives fans. And I'm like, but no, she's like, she was the creative director of J. Crew. Like, she reinvented J. Crew and how, like, a lot of modern, like, the way we look at retail. I don't know. I'm like, you don't know her influence.
Which I love, like when she throws like a party or whatever that's like got a theme, like for what people have to wear. She includes khaki as one of like part of the dress code. And they're like, wait a minute, you don't still work at J. Crew. But it's just funny to me that she's like, khaki is an essential.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Her reverence for khaki just gets me.
I love her thick framed glasses.
Yeah. No, it's a vibe. She wears them well.
No, I love it. It's like also her signature. I love like when someone has like a signature item, especially when they're a little older.
Yes.
What's your signature item gonna be?
Gosh, I don't know. A signature item. Maybe it'll be a scrunchie. I don't know. Or like a clip. Like I was for a while getting into hair clips. But I really, who's to say? You?
I can see when I'm older just like having like some sort of glasses moment.
Yeah, I could totally see that for you. You wear big sunnies. And those are a moment.
Thanks. Well, something like that. Something
like a statement piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Julia Fox eye makeup.
Julia Fox. Yeah. Oh my God. Just all of a sudden.
Just go full Black Swan.
Actually, that's a vibe. She makes it work.
She does. We'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, you want to get into itonya?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. So yeah, like we were talking about before, itonya stars Margot Robbie, Allison Janney. It's directed by Craig Gillespie. And it was a 2017 film, kind of like in a mockumentary style. It takes kind of like all the accounts. It's based on an interview that Tonya Harding and Jeff Gillooly did. Mm-hmm. And then that one, was it 1986, 1989 interview from Levon.
Yeah.
Golden or Harding. I'm a little confused. I know in the movie they say Harding, but if you Google it, it's Golden, but whatever.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I'm like, what? But then I'm like, that's too much to get into. I know she was married like a bunch of times and stuff, and
yeah,
I don't know.
And let's be real, like Tonya Harding is kind of her claim to fame anyways. So
yeah, that's true.
So tomatoes. But before we get into it, Brie, how would you describe the Tonya Harding-Nancy Kerrigan incident?
Okay. Sorry, it's just last time we did this. I feel like I was like, I don't know how it is.
How would you describe it?
Well, then you like went on a whole lengthy. Well, because like it was just funny because.
Well, maybe we can meet in the middle.
We'll meet in the middle. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know where to start. Like, how far back do I go?
Just how would you describe just the incident itself?
Well, I guess just a little bit of backstory. Tonya and Nancy, they were both kind of, rival skaters. They're both competitors in the same competition, skating for years, like, side by side. I don't know.
No, how would you just describe the incident? Okay. How about you ask me?
How would you describe the Nancy Kerrigan Tonya Harding scandal?
So, in 1994, Tonya Harding, who was known as like the edgier kind of, for lack of a better word, trailer trash. She just wasn't like stereotypical ice princess.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tonya Harding, who was a working class gal from Oregon, and Nancy Kerrigan, who was this gal from Massachusetts who had like the proper look. She was very Ralph Lauren, all-American. Mm-hmm. These two ladies were competitors, wanted to go to the 1994 Olympics. they both had trained their whole entire lives. And, you know, it was like a big deal because they're going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
We used to care about those things.
we really cared about those things. Also, it was a time in history where, I guess before the 90s, the Winter and Summer Olympics would happen on the same year. But this year, or like this is like the first time where they're separating the Winter and Summer Olympics. So it's every 2 years. So Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding had a better shot at being in the Olympics anyways. So Tonya Harding was married to this guy named Jeff Gillooly.
Yeah. Which, what kind of name is Gillooly?
Because you never trust a guy named Jeff Gillooly.
No. Or with a mustache like that.
Or a Cosby sweater.
Yeah, that whole combination should have sent out red flags.
But, so yeah, she was married to walking red flag Jeff Gillooly. And they hired a hitman who ended up, long story short, clubbing Nancy Kerrigan in the knee. And it was a big scandal.
Yeah. She recovered, though. No, I'm just kidding.
She did.
I mean, she did. Yeah. She was lucky. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been worse.
Well, yeah, they originally wanted to slice her Achilles tendon.
I know. Or murder. That one dude just was like, what about murder?
Oh, yeah, there were such dum-dums, too.
Ridiculous.
But in 1994, this was an interesting time in history, too, because the 24-hour news cycle was just becoming a thing.
Right.
Also with like the rise of, you know, like the CNNs for lesser quality National Enquirer, Jerry Springer kind of stuff. But yeah, the 24-hour news cycle was becoming a thing. Everyone loved a scandal. Like the 90s were all about the scandal.
Yeah.
And this was a really big one until OJ.
Yeah, no, it was. It shook the nation.
It did. It shook it up.
Yeah.
But, and also everyone like loves a good narrative, which is what itonya is about, which I think is really genius.
Yeah. No, I love how they like get everyone's perspectives in this movie and everyone's narratives.
For sure, because it's so crazy. Because these are based on real life interviews and a real life story.
Yeah.
Which is prime for a movie because it's like, you dig deeper into Tonya Harding and this whole scandal, and it's like, why hasn't this been a movie before? But everything is like equally tragic and hilarious.
Yeah.
Like you can't make this shit up.
Right. Like, because I, like, before watching the movie, I'm like, maybe I should know like a little bit about it before I go into it. And I just ended up going down a bit of a rabbit hole. And then I was reading about like the incident itself and how it all went down and just like the hitman of it all and how just like clumsy he was and how like messy, you know, and how he had to like jump through the glass to get out of the building because the doors were chained or something. So he just like, I'm just like, wait, this sounds like a movie. There's no way. Is this really real? And I just love seeing that like that moment in the movie because it does make you kind of like, you're like, what is going on? Like, who does this? Like,
well, and like in real life, it's so much more comedic, oddly.
Yeah, you're like, who would think to do this? Or like when the guy moves his car and is all like trying not to be suspicious.
For sure.
I don't know.
But do you remember, like, I remember growing up, it's so crazy to think about how Tonya Harding, before this incident, was just known for landing the triple axel and being the first female American figure skater to do that.
Yeah.
And that was such a big deal. And she was an athlete and everything. But by the time that I came into consciousness, I just solely knew the name Tonya Harding because of this incident and also as a punchline. Because I feel like forever this was a punchline. Like for the next 10 years, it was a punchline.
Yeah. I didn't know too much about it. I just knew like of her and like of Nancy Kerrigan. I just knew that they were both really like revered skaters, but like I don't know, I was more into like the Christy Yamaguchi or, you know, Michelle Kwan.
Oh my god. So yeah, you used to be, you're like a figure skating fan, right?
Yeah, I used to watch it a lot growing up. It was like the one sport I would follow. Matt and I would watch it together. For some reason it just stuck. I think it was on around dinner time, and it just like the routines, because it's like an art. Like, it's like dancing and performing, but it's also very technical, kind of like ballet, I guess. We would just root for different skaters, and I don't know. Big Christy Yamaguchi fan.
You're like Christy Yamaguchi?
Yeah, and who else? I remember, oh gosh, what is her name? Because she's in this movie too, briefly.
I know Michelle Kwan, like, growing up was huge.
Yes. Oh, Oksana Bayul. I remember she was a big deal.
I always heard those names.
Yeah.
Or, like, even after that, like, a Johnny Weir.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's someone in the ice skating world that every now and again just reaches this, like, high press coverage and gets the world into a tizzy for, like, 2 seconds.
I feel like we don't care about ice skating enough anymore. Like, you know, I feel like it was, like, a big to-do at the time. I don't know. And, like,
I know I haven't heard about figure skating since, like, Johnny Weir dressed like the Goblin King, essentially.
yeah, same.
And, like, performed to, like, Lady Gaga or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely fun to watch. But you used to, like, you took some skating classes, right? When you were a kid? Like, you almost lived your ice princess dreams?
Okay, well, talk about delusion, which is so funny that in this movie, it kind of touches on certain aspects of figure skating that it's funny. But with any competitive sport, you have to start, like, at 4.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but no, I saw the movie Ice Princess, starring Michelle Trachtenberg and Kim Cattrall at, like, 10 years old, and
iconic.
yes, for me, very seminal and iconic. But yeah, I had it in my head because I had this dance experience. I was like, you know what? I want to be an ice princess. She started late in life. I'm gonna be like Michelle Trachtenberg and Ice Princesses.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a 10-year-old, that's too old.
Too old.
Over
the hill.
Yeah, like, I was over the hill for ice skating. So I remember taking a lot of lessons and really loving it. But yeah, very competitive. Like, I was like,
it was cutthroat in there.
It was
those kids?
so cutthroat with all the 4-year-olds and me as a 10-year-old.
Wait, really? It was really just like the movie Ice Princess? Because wasn't she competing with younger people? And then, like, the little girl would come up to her and be like, "You suck," or something.
Oh yeah. So I got to live that fantasy as well.
Gotcha.
But that's hard work. I really have a lot of respect for figure skaters because they're athletes.
They are. Yeah, it's not all just aesthetics, but
yeah. In my mind it was, and that's why I'm not a figure skater.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I probably couldn't do it either, but it looks like it'd be a lot of fun to learn. Or, like, to do the spins and stuff.
So fun.
Just the stopping part would scare me. Like, how do you
No,
stop?
it's so easy.
Really?
I mean, not so easy, but I don't know. It was really fun. I really enjoyed ice skating, to be honest. I want to go back out there again.
You should, Nick.
Oh my God, Brie. I have watched itonya now a good 3 times.
Really?
I've gotten into this case a lot. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm fully in right now.
I know. You told me you had, like, nightmares last night about
Lavana, Nancy Kerrigan, not Nancy, Tonya Harding's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that slipped out. Sorry to Nancy Kerrigan's mom. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. She's also, like, blind.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like,
okay.
don't want to mess with that. But yeah, Lavana.
Yeah.
Yeah, she haunts my nightmares. The devil woman plays and she just haunts my nightmares.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I love how when we're introduced to Lavana, that double woman's playing. It's, like, perfect.
Can we talk about the needle drops in itonya?
Yes.
Genius. They use, like, a 70s soundtrack and it just, like, perfectly narrates this film. It just creates a vibe. Those, like, there's certain needle drops when certain stuff goes down and, like, integral plot points where I'm just like, yeah.
Like the chain.
Oh my God, the chain is so good. Or Gloria playing when they're doing the hitman stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's actually really comedic, I think. Yeah.
So good.
No, it's perfect. I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, a perfect use. I know it's, like, cliche at this point, but what is that song? I always associate it with, like, the Manson, like, Charles Manson song. But the, like, you gotta have a friend in Jesus. Like, bow, bow, bow. What is that song?
Oh. Wait, hold on.
Spirit in the sky.
Yeah, it's Spirit in the Sky.
Spirit in the Sky. Yeah, when that plays, it just like it's perfect.
I love that song anytime in any movie.
I love cult music.
I love cult music. I know. I love that other. What's that other song like the Beatles? Or no, it's not the Beatles. It's Is it just George Harrison? Maybe it's the one that's like.
Oh, it's Beatles. Helter Skelter.
Is that what? Are we thinking of the same song?
That's a cult. That's like started the cult.
I'm thinking of the one that's like. It's like the Hare Krishna one.
Oh,
it's like
My Sweet Lord.
My Sweet Lord. Yeah, who is that?
George Harrison.
Okay, but it's like still culty. Like it's all.
Well,
to your point.
Well, that's a good. That's an interesting topic. Are Hare Krishnas in a cult?
I mean, isn't everything?
Well, everything could be a cult.
Yeah.
Is figure skating a cult?
Yeah, definitely. Well, once you're in, I mean, as we can see from Tonya Harding's life, once you're in, you can't get out. I mean, she was since 4.
But no, that's not. She wanted to do this.
Yeah. No, it's true. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that could happen with cults too, but
yeah, really wanting to be in one. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. Just make the story even darker than it already is.
It's true.
Oh, she was forced against her will. No, I guess that's one thing is that she really did want to skate, and I guess Lavana at least let her skate.
Yes.
Right?
So like this film opens up with the modern day interviews between Jeff Gillooly and Tonya Harding. Like, what do you think about the mockumentary style of this film? Or do you vibe or?
I vibe. I love like a good mockumentary anyway, but I love this, like how it feels so real. Like I think they did such a good job with like the makeup, you know, and everything, making everyone look a little older. And also just the style of it, how it looks like it's like on film and like the framing of it. Like I just love how it's like directed and shot and like stitched together.
The use of color in this movie is like perfect.
Yes. It just creates a whole vibe. And I don't know. I love when like the actors are addressing the camera and like when they do flashbacks, how they're telling their side. And they're like, no, this is not how it went. And
I love the breaking of the fourth wall.
Yeah. It's cool how they mix that with like the interviews and everything. It's just, it keeps it fun and interesting. And the pace is just perfect.
I think so too. I think Craig Gillespie really like hit it out of the park. Like I'm not super familiar with his work, but I did enjoy Cruella.
Yes, that's right.
With Emma Stone.
Yes. And we were talking about how it's like a villain redemption arc of sorts.
For sure.
I don't know.
Well, I feel like Tonya Harding, her story she is the anti-hero.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And I like how this film, like getting into the actual story of Tonya Harding's life and like the incident.
Yeah.
It's a very like fine line. And I think the way because it, you know, even when you listen to Tonya Harding in real life,
yeah,
it is all about the narrative. Even the scandal in the 90s, you know, they painted her in a certain way, Nancy Kerrigan in a certain way, the way she paints herself, like the way other people tell her story, including Jeff.
Right.
Like, I think it's really genius to have something in a mockumentary style just because it is all about the narrative. Like, there's a quote Craig Gillespie says. He says, "To me, that's what this movie really is about. The things we tell ourselves in order to be able to live with ourselves and how we change the narrative and then want that to be the narrative, which is why I made the film documentary style, because all of them are trying to change the narrative, you know?"
Yeah, it makes total sense. I love it. I love the conflicting narratives as well, especially like between her and Lavana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Which, can we talk about Lavana?
yes.
Allison Janney's performance.
She's so good in this, and I love Allison Janney anyway, but like she knocks it out of the park. Her character is so funny. Like it's kind of a dark character to play, but she just tickles me, I guess. And with her performance, it just brings me so much joy.
Oh, I love even in the beginning when Tonya is like 3 and she's contacting Diane, who's the figure skating coach. And she goes on the ice and she's just like chain smoking the cigarette. Mm-hmm. And Diane's like, "There's no smoking on the ice." And she's like, "I'll do it quietly." And she like purses her lips in this way that like gets me every single time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Allison Janney only had that one interview of Lavana with the parrot.
Right.
To go off of. And I don't know, I think Janney just plays Lavana it's such a funny way, so cruel and abusive, but also funny, and there's a heart to it.
Yeah.
Which it's like she like is so well deserving of that supporting actress Oscar win. It's just so good.
I agree. Which, like, I feel like that whole year too, we had so many good movies.
I know, during that time, like, because every year I try to watch all of the nominees.
Yeah.
And this was just a packed year. This was the year of like Lady Bird and Call Me by Your Name and Shape of Water. I feel like itonya got like swept under the rug in my radar.
Yeah, same. And I also feel like Margot Robbie, like, she did an awesome job. Like, she, like, it's like I can see her and like I can tell that's Margot underneath it all, but like I feel like she also completely transformed herself. Like, she seems like a totally another person. Like, chills, you know what I mean? Like, she can act.
Oh, I love Margot Robbie in this. I love Barbie though. Like, she does a great job in Barbie, but I think this is her best role to date.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like she should have won, but I think it was Frances McDormand, which, you know, I totally understand. There were so many great actors and movies in that year.
Oh my god. Okay, so during the 2017 Academy Awards, Frances McDormand wins for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Which, did you see that movie?
I did not, but I heard it was really good. I wanted to see it. I feel like that year there's so many that I wanted to see, like Shape of Water. I wanted to see that. I think all I really saw was Call Me by Your Name.
No, you saw Lady Bird
and Lady Bird. Those two.
I think Saoirse Ronan was nominated for Best Actress, and I think she should have won. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I think it's really hard to do that coming of age drama and do it with such ease. So I would have loved to see Saoirse Ronan win that year. But Sally Hawkins was also nominated, and Meryl Streep for The Post. But yeah, Margot Robbie. It's like one of those things, like we were talking about it when we recorded before, how in my mind, I think just because The Shape of Water won Best Picture that year, I thought Sally Hawkins won Best Actress.
Yeah.
And I forgot Margot Robbie was even nominated.
I did. Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time. It went over my head.
For sure. Well, and then actress in a supporting role. So Allison Janney wins for this film, which 100%.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Leslie Manville for Phantom Threads nominated.
I was about to say, of course, Mary J. Blige.
Well, yeah, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, which also, what is this?
I don't know. I didn't know she was acting like in a movie.
It was nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Blows my mind. Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water.
That makes sense.
And Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, which was excellent.
Yeah, I feel like if itonya wasn't in that same year, maybe Laurie Metcalf, I don't know.
100%.
She was really good too.
It's such a good year though. Like 2017. So Best Picture, Shape of Water won. But Call Me by Your Name was nominated. Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out.
Oh yeah, Get Out. Jordan Peele's like debut film.
The best movie of the 2010s. In my opinion. Lady Bird was nominated, Phantom Thread, The Post, and 3 Billboards.
Oh, and Baby Driver too was out that year.
It was.
That's a lot. You're right. That's so many. Wow.
So good.
See, that's the cinema we need.
I know.
I feel like it is slowly coming back though with Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like, you know, maybe.
I think so.
We'll see some more.
I feel like once Parasite won, everyone was just like, that's a wrap. I know COVID happened, but I like to rewrite history where COVID didn't happen.
Let's change the narrative.
Yeah. And people were like, well, that's a wrap for a couple years. But yeah. This year, I'm ready. I'm ready to, I don't know. But we were fed in 2017.
Yeah, we were. Definitely.
Yeah. You know who I also really liked in this film?
Sebastian Stan?
Yes.
No, I think he's great. Like when he puts that mustache on, I'm like, who is that?
No, he's very good in this. I mean, I'm a stan of Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
And not because he kind of looks like my fiance.
No, I like Sebastian Stan too. I didn't even know he was in this movie. I was a little shocked. Like when I started watching, I was like, oh, wait a minute. What is he doing here?
I always forget about him. And then every time I see him, it's like a familiar face.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I want to hate this character, but it's Sebastian Stan, so I'm going to kind of love him in a weird way.
For sure. I also feel like, have you ever seen an interview with the real life Jeff Gillooly?
No.
Like, it's never what you think. Like, he definitely, and you know, Tonya Harding alleges abuse. So I want to say this in a way that also acknowledges that. But he does come across as the most, like, meek, awkward dude ever.
Yeah. Definitely seems awkward, the way they portrayed him, at least.
Yeah. But, like, even in real life interviews, it seems like if you, like, flicked him, he would be like, ow. That's how he comes across.
Yeah.
Which also red flag.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, the movie starts out with the early years of Tonya and the mom just kind of like pushing her out on the ice. And yeah, what do you think about Tanya's early years?
I love seeing her early years. It's cool seeing her at like 4 having, you know, talent already just kind of taken to the ice. And it's fun to see her like with her dad, like out hunting and stuff like that. Like she's like a wilderness gal. And she can skate. I don't know. It's just interesting getting some backstory, you know.
I like the one
picture.
scene when she's with her dad hunting in the woods and she's like, I want a job in an office with a deadline.
Yeah. But she also wants to skate. She's like, I can do both. Like,
for sure. Or when she's like out on the ice and she's played by, she's like a pretty famous actress now, but she was in Gifted with Chris Evans.
oh yeah,
The one girl.
child actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is so good, by the way.
Also looks like real life Tonya Harding.
Really does. I know, it was weird, like wigging me out just a bit. I was like, oh my god, she looks like her.
I know. Margot Robbie. That's a flex. Tonya Harding cannot complain about this movie, no matter how hard, like bad or good it paints her, because she's played by Margot Robbie, like the hottest woman on the planet. But yeah, I love the scene where Allison Janney like won't let her use the bathroom on the ice. Like she's like, I have to pee, and then she like pees herself and gets spanked.
Yeah.
And the mom comes in, like the other mom, and, you know, just like cowers away.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a fun way to portray this kind of like real life he said she said between Tanya's narrative and Lavana's narrative. But yeah, people do like corroborate with with
Sorry, I had to think about all the Law and Order that I watched.
Yes, for sure. Also, like the stuffed upness in my nose won't let me like, you know.
Yeah.
It's all coagulating in there when I try to say corroborate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Lavana says she did not abuse Tonya.
Right. She's like, I hit her with the hairbrush once. That was it. It's like,
But like other people like that were around were like, yeah.
Just witnesses. Yeah. I don't know. Those like it's, yeah, I feel like this movie, like it's complicated because there's like some moments that you're like, oh man, that's horrible. Like this is really terrible. Like
the steak knife.
Yeah, the steak knife. But you know, the movie has like a mix of like light and dark, I guess, you know, without getting into like the abuse too much, but enough to understand. I guess it's like not a dark and depressing movie, but I do like that it's like a dark comedy. You know? Yeah. I don't know. I like that they chose that direction, I guess, because otherwise it'd probably be too depressing.
For sure. Also, yeah, because of everyone's narrative, everyone wants to be the good guy. Like even Tonya Harding herself wants to be the victim a lot. And I think this movie does a good job of showing how in Tanya's mind she is the victim, and she kind of does blame everyone else for a lot of her problems, which doesn't get her far in life. I think it's like her ultimate demise, honestly. I think she self-destructs.
I think she does self-destruct, especially when she decides to get back with Jeff, like after they've kind of separated or whatever, and she's like, you know what? Which I know there's probably like other things, like the narrative, like that the, you know, the skating organization wants to push, like the All-American Family, whatever, but still, you know, like.
Yeah, it's definitely complicated. Well, like I think Tanya's world, she has the abusive mom and she is a really great figure skater.
Yeah, she's got like a lot working for her and against her all at once.
But then I feel like when she meets Jeff Gillooly, which is the first guy that ever gives her attention.
Yeah.
Which I think it's cool when we're introduced to Margot Robbie with like the braces.
Yeah, and that hair, like the bad perm.
Yes. Like almost like a mullet.
Yeah, it does kind of, it's very mullety.
But like awkward. I also love Margot Robbie's, like Tonya Harding does this thing with her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And Margot Robbie freaking nails it.
She does. Like all the mannerisms. Like I said, I don't know. I'm so impressed by Margot.
I love her in general. I love that like her and her husband have Lucky Trout Productions, which like made this movie happen, and Barbie, and kind of took Margot Robbie's career from like the hot gal in Wolf of Wall Street and parlayed it into like, because I don't feel like you would just cast Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding. Like I feel like she gave this to herself and it was a gift, and I'm like, praise be to Margot.
Right? Yes. Praise be.
We need like one of those prayer candles, just Margot Robbie.
Yes.
But yeah, like her and Jeff have this like very tumultuous relationship.
Yeah, very.
It's abusive. I love when they get married. Lavana is basically like, I'm not happy for you.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't fuck, or you fuck dumb, you don't marry dumb.
Yeah, she was like, have standards, sweetie, even though I like raised you not to have any really, or to care about yourself, but
it's like that one time where I'm like, she's kind of right.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're like, choices.
Yeah. But things are going well in the beginning of her relationship, and I love seeing that as well.
Like the good parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I love a good montage, like when Tanya's like sewing her own ice skating costumes and, you know, training.
Yeah.
Because like when she's with Jeff, part 1 is when she lands the triple axel.
Yeah. I guess she thinks he's like her lucky charm or something, maybe. Like,
yeah, I think she like conflates certain events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is that just like superstition?
I don't know, but she also has that scene after she lands the jump, and she kind of gets, according to Jeff, like too big for her britches.
Oh. Or does he not like to see a woman be successful? You know?
Well, he definitely wants to see Tonya be successful, which is also why
that's why he goes to those great lengths.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, it is. It's very complex. There's a lot of layers.
For sure. Because even though I love Tonya, she does victimize herself in a way that's like not cute. Like when she goes to the diner to confront her mom and being like, you cursed me. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, nah, you maybe shouldn't be worried about this right now. Like, keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like, yeah, it's interesting because Tonya Harding like definitely self-sabotages herself. Like that whole scene where she lands the jump, but then she like binge drinks and smokes even though she has asthma, and plays pool and gains like 15 pounds. And
yeah, I thought that part was cool though. I was like that.
You're like, queen. But yeah, it's a lot of highs and lows.
A lot of highs and lows. Yeah. This whole movie's like an emotional journey, I feel.
Yeah. It's also like you don't know how to paint it, but I feel like that's in real life too. I think like a lot of things about Tonya Harding's narrative confuse me.
Right. It's like certain things also don't add up. Like when you do get to the incident, like, okay, it does seem orchestrated very poorly. And I doubt that she was like, yeah, let's take this girl down, you know.
But didn't stop it.
You know. There's that note with like Homer Simpson doodles on there. I don't know. It's just like there's like a little, like something doesn't quite add up. Like,
yeah. Well, let's talk about it then. Because, so like Tonya Harding kind of like lets herself go. And this is the time she divorces Jeff.
Yeah.
And Diane, because she fires Diane in the beginning, like kind of right before she lands her jump, and
yeah,
she's not in a good place, and Diane's back on to coach her because the 94 Olympics are gonna happen and she's got to train.
Yes.
And I love the scene where it's based on real life because they break the fourth wall and say this happens in real life, but she has like the bags of dog food and she's like running in the woods to Barracuda.
Yeah.
Just like Rocky style training.
I love the Rocky style training montage. Yes.
I do too. Great needle drop. It like pumps me up. I'm like ready to train for the 94 Olympics.
I know, like I need to go running in the woods right now in a sweatsuit and just some dog food or like water jugs.
Also, pedaling back a little bit, can we talk about the scene when she lands the jump?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a big moment, like real life and in the movie. And I feel like they did such a great job of recreating it.
I love the moment in the movie where it's like in slow-mo, her landing the jump, and even like, you know, because in like she's lands the jump and she like does this like Rocky like fist pump in the air.
Yeah.
And just because all Tonya wants at the end of the day is to be loved.
Yeah.
Like that's what she wanted from her mom. That's what she wants from ice skating. And also because like the figure skating, like all the judges don't view her as like the perfect ideal for femininity, and they always mark off on her artistry points, and
right,
you know, they dig on her costumes, or you know, they say she's white trash and a redneck, you know, all those things are against her. But in that one moment, like she's like loved by everyone, and like it's like time just stops.
Yeah, no, I love that. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. I mean, it is a really cool thing, and that's one thing I guess like no one can take away from her in general, is just that moment. It's
of greatness.
It's a badass moment. You know?
It really is.
And she had to be really, like, proud of herself, like, in that moment. And I don't know, I think Margot Robbie does such a great job, too, of, like, just bringing that joy, you know, just be like, yeah, and just, like, all the, I don't know, all the little Tonya-isms.
Yeah.
Bringing that to life.
Because you watch that, like, the real life jump, and you can just see this, like, joy on her face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
it's
know.
so cool. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie, I think.
I want to ask Tonya Harding in real life if she's ever felt anything. Maybe like the birth of her son or something. But like, is that her proudest moment or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's like the cool thing. And I want to know your thoughts too. Because like, even in the movie during the interviews, she says like, I'm real. Like people love me because I'm a real like authentic person. Like, you know, for good or bad. I do feel like Tonya Harding's a very genuine person.
Yeah.
Do you feel that as well? Or why, speaking of like narratives, I guess my question is, where do you stand on the whole Tonya Harding of it all? Just like in general.
In general. Like Tonya Harding or like the incident?
Just Tonya Harding. Because I feel like she's kind of polarizing in general. Like even if the incident didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she's deserving of something, like with the, you know, she worked really hard. She was one of the first like women to do the whole triple axel. And yeah, I feel like she does deserve her flowers, but like, I feel like that, like it kind of sucks. Like, I don't know. I feel like after watching this movie and like doing research and just thinking, I feel like I have a lot more sympathy for her, and just like, it kind of sucks how like the one thing that she really loved and was really good at was kind of taken away, I guess, you know, like that you didn't get like a second chance, like they were like, that's it, you know, and that had to be heartbreaking. It makes you just think about how like people are just people, and sometimes there's circumstances that you can't control, and then there's ones you can. I don't know, life's all about choices. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, I think like Tonya Harding in general has a level of authenticity that is very endearing. But I feel like it's also something that is like a double-edged sword. I think because also like Nancy Kerrigan she's also from a blue-collar family.
Yeah.
She's not perfect. She just looks more beautiful. Like she's just more stereotypically pretty.
Yeah, she fits the look.
And she's able to assimilate to like figure skating culture and like what it is to be a figure skater a lot more than Tonya.
Yeah.
But Tonya Harding is like unabashedly herself and isn't ashamed of her upbringing. But also, is that true, or could she just not hide it? Because like when, you know, like news crews are looking for a narrative and a story, you can be like, oh, you know, Nancy Kerrigan's mom is blind, and you know, she came from a working class family and put her, you know, moved up. And Tonya Harding, it just like, it's like, oh, she has an abusive husband. She got married at 19 and her mom is abusive. And, you know, she just like, you know what I mean? It's hard.
Do you think they just wanted more scandal though, to shake things up a bit? Like Do you think they were rooting against her, or?
No, I think just it's harder for Tonya's narrative to be spun, I guess. Also, I think Tonya doesn't see anything beyond her narrative.
Maybe she's like letting it define her too much or something.
I think so. I think she has a complex about it, which is
like kind of like I'm not gonna conform to this aesthetic that you want to see. Like, I feel like somewhere in between about it, because like on one hand, I know she had limited resources with costumes and stuff, and like they do critique that kind of stuff. I feel like on one hand the judges probably were a little harsh, but also it's like part of the, like, you kind of know it's part of the thing. Like, I don't know, maybe she just lacked some guidance with that, or like
maybe there's also like a level of defiance. I think a lot of I think self-sabotage, which is where we come into the movie, where it's like even after she trains and stuff, to get herself back in shape for the Olympics. Yeah. She does still have this chip on her shoulder. Like,
yeah, it's like a chip.
Yeah. And she gets back with Jeff, and, her home life is still terrible. And that's kind of where we are when the incident takes place.
Yeah. Things are kind of falling apart, pretty much. Or maybe after the incident, I guess.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think this incident is like
a turning point.
Yeah, it's a turning point. Yeah, because I think before this, like, training, she does well. I think when she focuses on her natural gifts, and when that's the narrative, like, which I'm just thinking about in this movie, which is like so cool. When she's focused on herself and that narrative of bettering herself and going full into ice skating, even with the judges, even though they don't like love her completely, and I know that's all she wants, like, things go well for her when she focuses on herself. And as soon as she lets Jeff back in, as soon as she's like, contacting her mother, being like, you're bad charm,
it's like looking for validation elsewhere outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And it probably would bring your confidence down. And you're not tuning out everything the judge, you're more bothered by the judges now. Like, I see what you're saying. It's like she's her best when she's just focusing on herself and her talent and just fuck the noise.
Yeah. And like letting Jeff back in, it kind of like erodes whatever she's like built up, even though she's conflating Jeff with being her good luck charm.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like dumb. But she's only 23. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. Give her some grace, I guess.
For sure. But yeah, can we talk about the Nancy Kerrigan incident?
Yeah.
Because this is like the part in the movie where
the big moment.
Yeah, it's like the moment we've all been waiting for, which I love the movie just like addresses.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were going to handle that too, because I was wondering, are they going to make the movie all about that, or like what? And I like that they don't, that we get like all this build up to it first. But yeah, the incident itself is wild to watch unfold, and the way they paint it is like, I guess Tonya, she's like, whatever, yeah, okay, like, you guys do whatever, I'm gonna train. And like, you just see like Jeff Gillooly and like that guy, his like best friend / bodyguard man. I can never remember his name. I know his last name's like Eckhart or something.
Eckhart. The biggest boob on the planet.
Wait, Nikki, what are you talking about? He runs espionage like everywhere. Like, he has the most bodyguards. Like, he's the most successful.
He's the most successful, and he lives with his mom.
Yeah.
And it's like never had the job. I love when they're interrogating him and he's like talking about all his espionage business, and they're like, but you don't. And he's like, but I do.
But I do. Yeah, I love the interview, and I love comparing it to the real life interview because it's just as cringy, but like the actor who plays him in the movie, I think brings a lot of like humor and just, I don't know, just really does a great job where you're just like, oh my God, this guy, like,
oh my God, I feel like I've known people like this, which is so embarrassing.
Yeah, no, same. It's very embarrassing. If you find yourself like identifying yourself as like what's the word? Like, not identify, but
I don't
relating
know.
to Eckhart.
Yeah.
Like, take a look in the mirror. Get some help.
Really think about yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Jeff and his friend decide to like hire hitmen essentially.
Which isn't it because like there was a death threat to Tonya first, and this was a response?
Yes, except, okay, and I know that they don't really specify it in the movie, but in real life, those death threats might have been a part of their plan as well.
I'm pretty sure that would make total sense.
But basically, this Eckhart dude has this idea that he, like, wants to run, like, a bodyguard service for figure skaters.
He needs to create a need for bodyguards first.
I know. And the craziest thing is, it's like, all this is not for a lot of money. And it's only to, like, it's like an inside business, like you said, to have a need for bodyguards for figure skaters.
Well, if anything, it's costing them more money because it's like $2,000, I think, at least for this hitman who was like a terrible hitman. Like,
for sure, they hired the boobs, hire even bigger boobs.
Yeah,
but it's all to the soundtrack of Gloria, which is awesome.
I love it.
But yeah, how would you describe the incident? The guy, the hitman, was this Shane something or another?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Who attacks someone in broad daylight around a bunch of people? Like he goes to where she's practicing and there's people there and there's a camera crew, and yes, their camera's off, but like they had literally just turned the camera off. Like it was just very poor timing, poor planning. And like, I love in the movie, I don't know if this was in real life or not, but it was really funny seeing him ask about, like, he's like, which one is Nancy? Like, I mean, like, that is so suspicious. He didn't even disguise himself. He's just out there talking to people. Like, he can easily be identified. And he was, like, like, they were all caught. Like,
well, they didn't use they didn't wear masks or anything either.
They were not slick at all.
Well, the funnier thing, I don't know if that happened in real life, but in real life, allegedly, Tonya said that she was in Massachusetts training. Mm. And the guys go there. They call up the rink after being there for days and ask if Nancy is there because their daughter wants to meet her. And they're like, she's in Detroit. But anyways, in real life, he books a hotel and a plane flight with his own information and his own credit card.
You got to use someone else's.
And once he found out that she was in Detroit, he tried to go to the train station to get a ticket. And they were like, yeah, no trains go to Detroit.
Oh my God.
So
that's really dumb. The lengths people will go.
Right. And
was it worth it?
It's all for like not a lot of money, and it's basically all for clout.
Yeah.
Are these the first clout chasers?
Yeah. I don't know what they thought they would gain from this. Like, it's also insulting to Tonya, I would think. Like, if you're really good in your craft, like, she does make a good point. Like, why would you just want to take someone out? And especially have it handled like that. Like, I would be so pissed.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, my personal opinion is I don't think that she was actively involved. But I also think that she knew about it and was like, yeah, take her out.
Just kind of like aloof to it. Just kind of like letting it happen.
Well, in the beginning of the movie, you know, when she's talking to her dad as a young kid and she's talking about how in class, like, her mom's like, yeah, you just spit in that girl's milk. Mm-hmm. And the dad's like, you're not going to really do that. And she's like, maybe
she's like,
I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
about it.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. Oh, Nick, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
So I do think...
Maybe you're right. The Lavana influence coming through.
My thought process is Tonya Harding wasn't like actively involved, but I do believe she was like, yeah, get her out. Like, and you know, in her brain, like, she didn't even go to school really. Like, Lavana was always taking her out of school. She only knows figure skating. She doesn't really
scrappy.
And being scrappy. Like, she doesn't know how to handle conflict or jealousy or rage in the way, because all she knows is domestic violence and ice skating.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure she was like, yeah, kill the bitch. I don't care. Like, she didn't think about the consequences, and she's also like practicing for the freaking Olympics.
Yeah, true. She has bigger fish to fry.
For sure.
She's gotta work on her turns.
But I do think she was like, well, if you want to do this, I think that's a great idea, you know?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I feel like I'm with you on that. Like, she probably knew about it, but like didn't stop it or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about the media frenzy to the chain?
Yes, I loved that. That was one of my favorite parts. Because they also do this thing with the camera where it is a little bit in slow-mo, like when she's getting in the car and stuff like that. And I love the chain.
Yeah.
I love Fleetwood Mac. I don't know.
Same.
It just fit perfectly, like the vibe of what was happening for whatever reason.
The media circus, too, is so interesting. Like, the scene I always think about is when Levana, like when Tanya's getting swarmed by press and Levana comes to her door.
She visits her, yeah. And she seems like she's gonna be like really nice. She acts nice, which is like red flag. She's like, sweetie, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, what? Like,
and Tonya gives her like the biggest hug.
Yeah.
And it's like a moment. And then she like finds like a tape recorder.
Yeah. She was bugged.
Yeah.
The whole time. That's so sad. And it's like I don't know. It's just hard to see Tonya like, I don't know, the whole tumultuous relationship just like with her mom is like, you're just like, oh man, can't they have a nice moment? And it's like, no, they can't. Oh,
it's like, yeah, that part really got me. It like really sucks. Like that's the moment I felt for Tonya.
Yeah, she like can't trust anyone,
not even her mom.
No.
I do think, speaking of karma though, I love when Jeff is about to go to jail, and you see the one media like car just drive away, and it's just like Jeff's just, after all this is done, like no one cares about him anymore, and you see briefly on the TV like OJ.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And yeah, it's just like, yeah, you got your 15 minutes of fame, and now they're moved on to the next one, the next big scandal of the 90s.
Basically, yeah. But no one really forgot about Tonya. I feel like people forget about Jeff or whoever, because I think they all changed their names or something. Like the guys.
Yeah, Jeff Stone.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it just kind of sucks. Like I feel like she paid the biggest price, and I don't know. Kind of makes me mad, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
Can we talk about the performance? The last like performance before Tonya gets barred from figure skating, and like her Olympic performance.
Yeah, when she was tying up her laces.
Yeah. Well, like even before then, I like the scene where she's in the mirror having her like black swan moment really strikes me, because it's like this essentially little girl who's trying to keep it together, and like I think Margot Robbie does a really good job where it's like you can see on her face how it all hits her. Like there's no way she can spin this narrative anymore. There's, you know, this is like her life is ruined by these actions. Like it doesn't matter who's at fault, how hard she tries or how hard she denies. It's like her whole entire world's falling apart, and like you can see it like right on her face.
Yeah, no, I get like chills. It's, you know, like she does that like creepy smile while her tears are coming down. Like I don't know, it's so good. She's slapping her makeup on, which I feel like we've all had those moments to a degree. Maybe not like as big of like oh, I'm going out to skate for my life, but you know what I mean, where you got to put on, and yeah, she's really putting on like for the whole world, and it doesn't really work.
No, not at all. What's your thoughts on the like ice, like the lace situation?
Someone probably messed with her laces.
You think someone messed with her
laces?
Probably.
I'm sure it happens like more often than not. Like how long does it take to lace up laces? And wasn't there something with the laces beforehand that then they had already been replaced or something?
Like they're too short.
Yeah. I don't know. I think someone messed with her laces.
Conspiracy.
But also it's probably like stress too. Like you only have a few minutes. Like, you know, maybe she took longer to get ready because of the makeup, you know, she's trying to pull herself together and not be emotional. And then, you know, we've all had those times where it's like, oh my God, I'm running late. I got to get to work, whatever it is, you know. I mean, but you know, this is publicized. This is a lot of pressure. I can't imagine like I'd be like stressed too. I'm just saying she was probably stressed out, and maybe someone messed with the laces, maybe not, but it could just be one of those things that's just like bad timing where you don't have a lot of time to get ready. because you're a mess and you just start off on the wrong foot, literally. The wrong shoe, the wrong shoelace.
Feel ya.
But it's hard to watch. It's like, because you are rooting for her, you want her to do well, but you just know, you're like, oh man.
It's like I disagree. I think that this was another way of Tonya to play the victim. Like, I think I know it's really rare for that problem of laces, because it kept coming up for her.
Yeah.
Like, I know in real life. I think this was kind of another way for her to, like, it's another tactic. She's like, if they're not going to love me based on this, maybe they're going to feel sorry for me.
You think she purposely was like, had problems with her laces? Possibly?
No, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it.
Or used it to her advantage?
I think she used it to her, or tried to. I think she just strikes me as someone that was really like scraping for anything, any tactic to get what she wants, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, she's
That's what you gotta do sometimes. Yeah.
I do root for Tonya, though. Like, so much.
Yeah.
But can I give my hot take?
Yeah. I love your hot takes.
I know we're supposed to love the anti-hero and we're supposed to love an underdog. I've always been a Nancy Kerrigan defender.
Yeah.
I love Nancy Kerrigan. I think she's pretty. I think she skates really well. I understand it. I think I also relate to her being quote unquote perfect and also getting shit for that. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with doing your best. And I don't know. I like love Nancy Kerrigan's diva moments.
Yeah.
Like when she's like pissed off that Oksana Bayul got the medal, or like when she was on the float at Walt Disney World and she's like, this is the cheesiest thing ever. Like, I love her bitchy moments.
I do too. No, they crack me up. Like,
yeah, but I'm a Nancy Kerrigan defender.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I do feel like, you know, she is the real victim of this like incident, like in this way, like, you know, I'm glad that like nothing worse happened and it was just like a club to like the knee or whatever and not like cutting her or killing. Like, that would be, I feel like that's like unforgivable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, because you're an athlete, like you need your body to do what it needs to do.
Well, I guess if you slice your Achilles tendon too, it goes up your leg.
Yeah.
Which is really gross to think about.
It's really cruel too. Like, I don't know. I'm glad that she was able to keep on skating. Was she on Dancing with the Stars?
Maybe. I know Tonya Harding was.
Maybe was Tonya? It was her that was on there?
Yeah. But maybe Nancy Kerrigan as well.
I don't know. But she did some other stuff too. Like, her career went on, as far as I know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and I do think, I don't know, the thing that like doesn't sit right with me and has never sat right with me about this whole scandal is Nancy Kerrigan played by the rules. She did everything and she was the best. And she got overshadowed by Tonya. But not for like the right reasons. It was for the scandal of it all. Like, you know, whatever. Like, Nancy Kerrigan worked just as hard, was just as scrappy. She had the perfect narrative. And she still, like, even after this scandal took place, we're still talking about Tonya Harding. Tonya Harding eventually got the movie with Mega Babe Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Like,
where's the Nancy Kerrigan movie?
For sure. And like, there's fucked up things that happened with Nancy Kerrigan in her life too. I guess her, like, one of her brothers, you know, was very violent and like choked out the dad in 2010, and the dad ended up dying. Whoa. And her brother went to jail. Like, but she was she just played by the rules. And she ultimately got punished. Like, you're right, she is the actual victim. Yeah. But we talk about Tonya all the time.
Right. I think it does go back to like the narrative of it all. But if you think about it, they have a lot more similarities than differences, which is wild. So I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, yeah, I don't really want to pick a side. I think they both are deserving in different ways of like, you know, they're both talented and they're like in skating like this. So you can't really deny it. And I mean, objectively, Nancy Kerrigan had more, like, she was more perfect. Like, you were right, like playing by the rules. So you'd think she would be rewarded a little more, you know?
Well, and also like if it was 5 years before, if this was like, you know, 1989 instead of like 1994, Nancy would have been the clear winner. Mm-hmm. It's just 1994. We had we loved a good scandal. We, the Amy Fisher of it all, OJ,
Yeah.
What we just were really into, I know there was a New York Magazine piece, I believe, around that time, because this was the Anna Nicole time, and it was called White Trash Nation.
Yeah, we were obsessed with this idea of white trash, I guess.
Yeah.
And we either loved it or hated it.
But we love to hate it.
Uh-huh.
The age of Jerry Springer and, So, yeah, it kind of it sucks. But Tonya Harding definitely got the short end of the stick, and it's all based on her narrative as well and who she associated herself with and her self-worth, and that sucks.
Yeah, it's very complex.
It's so complex.
But it makes for a good movie
for sure. I do love at the end when they're saying where they ended up, and one of the things in writing is Tonya wants you to know she is a good mom.
Yeah, I like that too. Breaking the chain.
Yes. Do you think this is a convincing redemption arc for Tonya?
I would say so, but I don't I don't know if it's exactly redemption or if it's just kind of shining a light on who she is as a person, giving more backstory, making sense of the narrative and why things happened the way they did. Because I feel at the time we were probably so, I don't know, I wasn't really there, but I know that we were obsessed with the scandal of it all. So I'm thinking the people were focused on that and her being white trash and, being the one that maybe even clubbed, just pitting these women together or against each other and just, wanting to see a big fight or something. I don't know. I just feel the movie gives us more context and just makes you look at her. She's oh, this is a person who is doing probably the best with what she had given. And you can respect that, I think. So it just kind of, I feel I can maybe just respect her a bit and understand her a bit more. I think it's more about understanding than redeeming. I don't know.
I feel that too. I feel yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking about Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero.
Yeah, that song is literally
it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think
because it's not she's the hero of the story. It's not she's woo, because it's just, I don't know. I feel the movie just kind of paints her as someone who's fighting through life and
using what she has, her resources.
Yeah, just using what she has. Because after her skating career's over, they show her she's in women's boxing now to do something to stay relevant or whatever, and that's obviously not the same as skating. But then you just see the final, I think, clip of the movie is she gets knocked down, but then she gets back up. So I guess that's just a metaphor. Maybe she's
scrappy.
She's scrappy. Yeah.
I
don't know. I can respect the scrappiness
for sure. It's complicated. But.
Yeah. It just makes you, I think it just makes you think for a whole week now. I'm just sometimes I'll just zone out just thinking about it and just thinking about choices. And I'm not that I have any huge, talent that I feel, I don't know, you know what I mean? But just think the idea of something taken from you, putting your heart and soul into something. I don't know. It just really makes you think. It's kind of inspirational.
What if you could never edit a podcast?
What if I could never edit? Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I like to draw and stuff, but I don't really use that talent a lot. But I'm what if that was taken? I mean, it would.
I took all your pencils.
It's not the same.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean though? Wasting. I don't know. I feel we're given. Everyone has natural abilities to some degree, and she really went for it despite all her what she had going on, all the things that were working against her. So I feel I'm inspired and also troubled. I don't know.
I feel whatever you can, if you can take away any moral lesson from I, Tonya, it's definitely don't let your circumstances to the best of your ability cloud your judgment or to get in the way. The narrative we paint for ourselves is very important.
Yes, and the most important, no matter what anyone else is saying.
And if Tanya's narrative wasn't based on what she lacked and what she had, because every time Tanya's succeeded it is her resilience, like even to this day, you know, picking yourself up, but it's also, she had this gift, and no matter how bad her mom was, how abusive her husband was, you know, she was an excellent athlete. And like that really shows. I love that at the end of the movie we see the actual clip of her landing the jump.
I love that too,
because it just shows how Tonya Harding was a really gifted athlete, and that you can't take away from someone.
you cannot.
So.
Yeah.
So Brie, I think you're gonna be fine as long as you don't have a narrative that you're like a scrappy little nobody who gets really jealous of another artist, you know, and decides to hire some dumb hitmen.
Too late.
Dang it.
It's already in the work. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
Oh, scandal. Yeah, no, this was just a great movie overall. Like, I feel like it should win all the awards.
How would you rate this movie?
I'm going to say 10 out of 10 broken laces.
I also give it 10 out of 10 clubs to the knee.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just perfect. There's nothing I would change. Like, I feel like it's chopped up and edited really well. It makes, I don't know. I like the whole journey. I like the mix of comedy and dark humor and facts and fiction, you know?
I love it. Well, even if you like look at the facts, it seems like fiction. So.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Craig Gillespie, man. Hats off.
Hats off.
I think he also wears those Darren Aronofsky caps.
Oh, he does?
So, newsboy cap off to that man.
Yeah, newsboy cap.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Before we wrap this baby up, before we skate off.
Before we skate off.
Which, can you skate? Do you have...
I can skate forward. I can like skate pretty decently, and I think somewhat powerfully. Like I can do this and be like, whoo, and that's about it. And like go in a circle. And if I stop, I have to fall. Like I have to skate into the wall to grab myself on the sides. I don't know how to stop, and I can't skate backwards, and I can't spin. So I'm kind of jealous because you can spin. Like, you can skate back. You've learned to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like
but I'm rusty. I haven't skated since I was deemed too old at the age of 10. So
we should skate.
We should.
Yeah. We should have like a song. We should come up with a routine.
We do. Oh my God. Just get crazy. Get wild. Let body.
Get wild. Yeah. Wanna have fun.
Do something crazy. And we do some like a triple axel.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect skating song.
Do you think, Tonya Harding, when she was known for like having like rock songs, like a ZZ Top song, well as people like usually do like classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if Tonya Harding was around in like the 2010s, it would be like LMFAO, like the Jersey Shore?
It'd be that song. And then what's that one song where he's like, I got leopard pants or something? What is it? It's
I don't know. Oh wait, like a party.
I'm sexy and
I
I know it. Is it that one that I'm thinking?
Do you think she would just be like dancing to that?
I think so, yeah.
If I were to, we should do a routine to bet on it with the figure skating.
Yes, I actually think that would be epic. And that song is made for figure skating. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of this and kneeling.
I'm not gonna. Oh my God.
And it can jump and then it could like land and like bet on it. Like just like really be like,
bet on me.
Yeah. I think like roses. Remember when they would throw roses into the rink? Like at the end, like
that's my dreams.
Woo! Like hear the crowd whistling and like throwing roses after you bet on it.
I'm into it. Oh my gosh. Oh, before we go. So, because this is based on a real life story, Nancy Kerrigan did respond a little bit to everything. Mm-hmm. She said her only role in the 1994 scandal was recovering from an attack. She went on during this interview to speak about how she remembered the scandal as a bizarre thing and the whole thing was crazy. But yeah, she was essentially, or she said she was a victim of Harding's dysfunctional life. And she said that she had her own life.
Yeah.
And she's always been bothered by Hollywood's portrayal of Tonya.
I would be too. I mean, I get it. Like, she's minding her own business, she's just skating, doing her thing.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed, if I was her. It was like, damn it, like this mess is...
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So as much as I love I, Tonya, we need our I, Nancy.
Yes.
You know?
I would love to see that.
Anne Hathaway.
Oh my
Do it.
gosh, she would be perfect.
Do that thing up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well,
rate and review us on iTunes
and Spotify. And thank you so much, everyone at Her Dat, for our new artwork.
Yes, we love it. Yeah, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.